ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। शौरे सप्तदशाहं वै संयुगानि पराजितः त्रयोविंशतिभिः सैन्यैर्जिज्ञे एकम् अहं परं तथापि नेक्स्ट तथापि अहं न शोचामि न प्रहर्षामि कर्हिचित् कालेन दैव युक्तेन जानन् विद्रावितं जगत् तथापि न शोचामि न प्रहृष्यामि कर्हिचित् कालेन दैवयुक्तेन जानन् विद्रावितं जगत् तथाप्यहं न शोचामि न प्रहृष्यामि कर्हिचित् कालेन दैवयुक्तेन जानन् विद्रावितं जगत् तथाप्यहं न शोचामि न प्रहृष्यामि कर्हिचित् कालेन दैवयुक्तेन जानन् विद्रावितं जगत्। बोलिए। Mataji's? Word-to-word meaning, translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. So we are supposed to discuss verse number 13 and 14. Shaureh with Krishna. Shaureh with Krishna. Saptadasha 17. Aham I. Vai indeed. Sanyugani battles. Parajita lost. Trayavinchati bhi 23. Sainya with armies. Jigge 1. Ekam 1. Aham I. Param only. Tathapi nonetheless. Aham I. Na shochami do not lament. Na praharishyami do not rejoice. Karhichit ever. Kalena by time. Daiva with fate. Yuktena conjoined. Janan knowing. Vidravitam driven. Jagat the world. This is Jarasandha. He is addressing to Shishupal and company. Specifically speaking to Shishupal. In battle with Krishna, I and my 23 armies lost 17 times. Only once did I defeat him. Purport. Jarasandha offers his own life as an example of the inevitable happiness and distress of this material world. Next verse. But still, I never lament or rejoice, because I know this world is driven by time and fate. Purport. Having stated that the Supreme Lord controls this world, Jarasandha explains the specific method of control. It should be remembered that in the Vedic context, Kala or time does not refer merely to a system of measuring planetary movements such as days, weeks, months and years, but rather to the way things are being moved. Everything is moving according to its destiny, and this destiny is also described as time. Since everyone's destiny is revealed and imposed by the movements of time. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitauscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhesha Kripa Sindubheva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Kathanchana smrute asmin dushkaram sukaram bhavet vismrute viparitam syat Sri Chaitanyam namamitam Sri Chaitanyam namamitam Sri Chaitanyam namamitam. Hare Krishna. Before we commence our today's discussion on the exalted topic of Srimad Bhagavatam's Rukmini Swayamvar, I would like to seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas, specifically all the senior devotees assembled over here. And also I seek the blessings of all the devotees who are hearing this class online on YouTube or who will hear this afterwards. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Granthana Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Samam Bonam, Krishna's lotus face. And in that, in particular, we are reading about Rukmini Swayamvar, chapter number 54. And today we are discussing text number 13 and 14. There are many lessons that we can learn from this pastime. There could be a whole Bhagavad Katha on Rukmini Swayamvar itself. So interesting and it's so inspiring topic. So there are various segments of our today's discussion, the glories of hearing and what is Daiva, Kala and what we are supposed to do like this. Let us see how much we can cover in this stipulated time. So as we know, Rukmini was the daughter of Vidarbha Raj, Bhishmak Maharaj. And his capital was Kaundinyapur. Today it is called as Kundinapur. It's in the district of Amravati in the region of Vidarbha. It was my great fortune. I happened to be there for some time. So Maharaj Bhishmaka had 5 sons. Rukmi, Rukmarat, Rukmabahu, Rukmakesh and Rukmanetra. And these 5 brothers had one younger daughter. Her name was Rukmini. I wonder why they named like this. Everything is beginning with Rukma. Rukmi, Rukmarat, Rukmabahu, Rukmakesh, Rukmanetra and Rukmini. And one interesting fact is that in the palace of Maharaj Bhishmaka, every now and then the great sages like Devarshi Narad Muni and others would come and they would discuss about Lord Krishna's pastimes. Maharaj Bhishmak, he was hearing. That means his sons, Rukmi, Rukmarat, Rukmabahu, Rukmakesh, Rukmanetra, they were also there in the palace. And Rukmini was also there. She was also hearing. Rukmi must have heard about the pastimes of Krishna, isn't it? He was in the same palace. He was staying with his father. And Rukmini was also there. What is the effect? One became a very unalloyed devotee of Lord Krishna who dedicated her life for Krishna's pleasure, and other, he became an ardent arch rival of Krishna. He must have heard Krishna's pastimes from Narad Muni. The opportunity was equally available for him also. So what was the problem with Rukmi? His association. His association. His friends were Jarasandha, Shishupal, and Kalingaraj, all those demoniac kings who were opponents of Lord Krishna. And they were his friends. So that is the effect of association. Despite getting such a nice, glorious Krishna Katha and its organization, still if we maintain some bad association, the result will be opposite. And as we have heard from various illustrious speakers on Rukmini Swayamvar, how Krishna comes and saves Rukmini from that imminent danger. And recently, we know our respected head Pujari, His Grace Ramaru Prabhu, he explained why Krishna was late in kidnapping Krishna. Very interesting pastime he mentioned about. Once Rukmini asked, why did you become late in picking me up? Then he says, he narrates the pastime of Vikukshi and all those things. If somebody becomes late for some important work, what is the danger of that becoming late? That whole narration we have heard. Basically, Krishna wanted to increase Rukmini's intensity. Krishna has this habit of increasing devotees' intensity. Despite the devotee doing his devotional service since many lifetimes also, but Krishna still likes to aggravate the intensity of his devotees. As we see in the case of gopis also, Krishna disappeared from the Ras Leela just to increase their intensity for him. Even when he was going to Mathura, that time also, Krishna just wanted to see the intensity of gopis' love. That is why Srila Shukadeva Goswami says in the second canto, he begins with this. Akamaha sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. You may be having no desires, akama. You may not be having any desires. You may be having only desire for salvation, like impersonal Brahman, etc. Or you may be having all the desires of the material world. Three categories of people are there in the world. Zero desires, like the pure devotees of Krishna. And second is having all the desires. And third is having desire for impersonal liberation. So all these three categorical people are being advised unanimously. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. They have only one common activity to do. That is intense devotional service to Krishna. Not vishivashi, cozy bhakti. It has to be intense. And that intensity Krishna wanted to see in Rukmini Mata's devotional service. That's why also he became a little late. And as we heard recently, how Krishna comes and kidnaps Draupadi just like a lion, takes his own share, and he goes away. Thereafter, everybody is chasing Krishna. Everybody is chasing Krishna and Rukmini. That time, the Yadu dynasty, Yadu clan, they had brought their entire army and they were facing this Rukmi, Shishupal and Jarasandha. They had big armies actually. And as we learned from previous verses, Krishna says, Tavakena, your army will easily defeat. Hey Rukmini, don't be worried so much. Your army will easily defeat these opponents. So, although Krishna is not yet married with Rukmini, but still, Krishna, he is giving his all opulence to his devotee, Rukmini Mata. That's the nature of Krishna. Whatever he possesses, he likes to give to his devotees. Tavakena, your army. Although Rukmini has not yet become his wife. That shows Krishna's great mercy on his devotees. And now comes, thereafter what happens when Yadu army, Yadu big soldiers like Samba and others, they defeat all these opponents, including Shishupal, Rukmi and all others, Jarasandan, etc. That time in particular, Shishupal became dejected. He was morose. And although he was not married with Rukmini, but he was considering himself that he was married with Rukmini. He was possessive of Rukmini. And he became very much morose and dejected, and he was lamenting. And just like when Arjuna was lamenting, Krishna started giving instructions in the form of Bhagavad-gita. So here Shishupal is lamenting, and that time Jarasandha started giving his own Upadesha, his own life example, his own instructions. If we don't know these verses are spoken by Jarasandha, then we can match these verses with Bhishma Deva's verses in the 9th chapter of the 1st canto. We can match these verses with the 8th canto's Bali Maharaja's instructions. What is the difference? They are almost the same. We'll compare all those verses now. They are almost the same. Even the great Mahajans like Bhishma Deva is speaking the same truth, and even Jarasandha is speaking the same truth. Can you imagine how the demonic mentality can be utilized to philosophize our own sense gratification? The demoniac people can utilize the philosophy to use our to gratify our senses and to satisfy our false ego. The same thing, quoted out of the context. So herein, in this verse, Jarasandha is trying to pacify Shishupal. Shaure saptadashaham vai sanyugani parajita trayo vinchati sainair jigye ekam aham param. Jarasandha is giving motivational speech, inspiring him. I believe before that, he says, Bho Purusha Shardula, you are the tiger among men. Why are you so much worried and dejected? Don't be so much dejected. I will give you my own example. I attacked Krishna, and 17 times I was defeated, although I was leading the 23 Akshahoni categories of Sena. Means one Akshahoni contains so many foot soldiers, so many horses, so many elephants. Prabhupada describes that in the Bhagavad-gita. And although I was leading so much of huge army, I was defeated by Krishna 17 times. But only once did I defeat him. Just see, just because Krishna ran away from the battlefield for the sake of his own pastimes, Jarasandha is considering Jarasandha defeated Krishna. That is his misunderstanding, first of all. And second, just consider, try to understand the positive confidence of Jarasandha. He is being defeated 17 times. He is not calculating that. He is forgetting that. Krishna could have killed Jarasandha at the very first battle. Jai SriSriRadhaRasbihari Bhagavan ki, Jai Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Jai Shri Gaurnitai ki, Jai. Krishna could have killed Jarasandha at the very first battle only. But why did he let go Jarasandha? Because Krishna's mission is Paritranaya Sadhuna Vinashaya cha Dushkritam. So Krishna came to lessen the burden of Mother Earth from the armies, unnecessary armies. So Krishna thought, Krishna is most intelligent, and he thought, why I should go to all these atheistic army soldiers and kill them one by one, one by one. Better I release this Jarasandha, he goes back and he collects all the armies together and he brings them in front of me and I kill them. If I kill him, then next time I have to go to individual soldier and individual commanders, etc. So this is his, time management and expertise. This is how he managed to rid the earth of the burden from this unnecessary army clans. And here Jarasandha himself is admitting, I was defeated like this for 17 times. So now in the Bhagavad-gita we hear there were so many soldiers, and Prabhupada writes in the purport, there were 18 Akshahunis. Jarasandha would bring 23 Akshahunis each time. 23 into 17. How many? It's very difficult to calculate. Just imagine how much burden was there on Mother Earth. Because if they were following Jarasandha, that means they were demoniac. And they came with Jarasandha. And that's why Krishna did not kill Jarasandha. If he killed Jarasandha, then who will bring all these demonic kings in front of him? Just like if you see some ants in your house here and there, or if you see some mosquitoes in your house, they're roaming here and there, they're flying here and there, then you'll have to manage to go in each and every nook and corner and kill them. But if some medicine is there, which can collect them all together and take them out of the context. So that medicine for Krishna or that planning was done by Jarasandha. So in this way, Jarasandha served Krishna indirectly. He did not know what he was doing. And here he admits, I was defeated 17 times. Just see the positive attitude of Jarasandha. Hum honge kamyab ek din. One day I will become successful. Man mein hai vishwas, pura hai vishwas. One day I will be successful. And Jarasandha, the demon, was having that kind of mentality. Jarasandha was thinking, one day I will defeat Krishna. Just like we sometimes feel. One day I will be happy. One day I will be rich. One day I will be famous. Like that. Even though we see, there are many examples we'll see now. Our father, our great-grandfather, our grandfather, our near and dear ones, they got defeated. But still we feel, hum honge kamyab. Just like Jarasandha was thinking, I will defeat Krishna. And when Krishna left the battlefield and he became Ranachod, he was thinking, I defeated Krishna. And then, in the 14th verse he says, Tathapi aham na shochami na prarishyami karhichit. Still I do not lament. Still I do not lament. Krishna says, Ma shucha. And here Jarasandha is saying, I do not lament. Somewhere or other he is following Krishna indirectly. But still the original motive is to defeat Krishna. Alena daiva yuktena janan vidravitam jagat. Because this world is driven by Kala and Daiva. Both are same. Kala and Daiva, this world is driven by the Kala and Daiva, destiny and time. That's why I do not lament. So it seems to be some advice given by some great devotee, isn't it? Do not lament. Everything is happening because according to the destiny, like that. But here Jarasandha, the great demon, is speaking. Do not lament. I never lamented. If you read the 4th canto, Dhruva Maharaj's section, when Dhruva Maharaj was insulted by his stepmother Suruchi, that time the boy Dhruva, he goes to his mother Suniti and he was crying. That time, Mother Suniti, she advises Dhruva, do not lament. And in that purport, Prabhupada says, mere lamentation is useless. One should find out the ways and means to mitigate this lamentation. Prabhupada writes there, mere lamentation is useless. So in Krishna consciousness, there should not be any sort of lamentation. And Krishna also instructs, Ma Shucha. If you go to Kanchipuram, how many of you seen Lord Varadaraja in this human life? Yeah. On Lord Varadaraja's hand, right palm, Varadhasta, is written in Tamil, Ma Shucha. Ma Shucha. I was fortunate to have darshan twice. Once even Ati Vardar. The one who comes after 40 years out. Mahashucha, the Lord has already instructed in the Bhagavad-gita, never lament. We should never lament. Sri Krishna, the Lord never likes his devotees lamenting for his own personal sake. So in the purport, the devotees are explaining that time doesn't mean the measurement equipment, just like this watch on the wall, our wristwatch, or what we see, our days, weeks, months, and years. That is not time. That is not time. Time, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 11.32, if you know. 11.32. Yes. It's Vishwarup Yoga. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Kalosmi Lokakshayakrit Pravruddho Lokan Samahartum Iha Pravrutta Ritepi Tvamna Bhavishanti Sarve Yeva Sthita Pratyanikeshu Yodha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds. Krishna is time. And I have come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. Some people say, some devotees say, there are about 64 crore, 6.40 million, 64 crore soldiers were there. Only 7 or 8 survived. 5 Pandavas, Ashwathama, Kritavarma, and Kripacharya. Others, everybody else was killed. And then in the next verse he says, Tasmat Vamuttishta Yasho Labhasva Jitva Shatrun Bhungsva Rajyam Samriddham Mayeva Vete Nihitam Purvameva Nimitta Matram Bhava Savyasachi. Savyasachi, hey Arjun, you just become an instrument. Nothing else. You just become an instrument. Mayeva vete nihitaha purvameva. I have already killed all of them. I have already killed all of them. I have come here to kill them. So Krishna is time. Kalosmi. Kalosmi. And then he says, Dronam cha Bhishmam cha Jayadratham cha Karnam tathanna ninapi yodha viram. Everybody I have killed them. And you just become an instrument, nothing else. So, this time is none other than Krishna himself. As we say in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Pitama Bhishma Dev, he is instructing Yudhishthir Maharaj. When Yudhishthir Maharaj was lamenting, because of me, I wanted to become the emperor. So many people have been killed and massacred, and so much of violence have occurred just because of my ambitious desire to become an emperor. Many people tried to pacify Yudhishthir Maharaj, but Yudhishthir was not to be pacified. And then everybody, Krishna brings them to Pitama Bhishma Dev. And at that time, Pitama Bhishma Dev, he gives wonderful discourse to Yudhishthir Maharaj. And in that, he is explaining. And that class was being attended by so many big Brahmaratas and big Rishis, Maharshis, Rajarshis, Viprarshis, Brahmarshis, Devarshis, all sorts of Rishis attended that class given by Bhishma Pitamaha to Yudhishthir Maharaj. Tan sametan mahabhagan upalabhya vasuttama pujayamasa dharmadno desha kala vibhagavit. This is 1.9.9. And at that time, from verse number 12 onwards, Sri Pitama Bhishmadev starts instructing Yudhishthir Maharaj. 1.9.12. Aho kashtam aho anyayam yadyuyam dharmanandanaha jivitum narhatah klishtam vipradharmachyutashrayah Aho kashtam, aho anyayam. So much of kashta, labor, anyay, so much of injustices. Dharmanandana, to whom? Dharmanandana, Yudhishthir Maharaj and his brothers. And those difficulties were insurmountable. Jeevitum, it was very difficult to be surviving in that precarious condition, but still, Vipra Dharma Achut Ashraya, you people had taken shelter of Vipra, the Brahmanas, religious principles, and Lord Achyuta. Then he goes ahead, 13th. Sanstite athirathe pandu prutha bal prajavadu ishmat krute bahun kleshan prapta tokavati muhu. And my daughter-in-law, Kunti, she also suffered a lot. Here, Pitama Bhishmadev is appreciating and also pacifying the Pandavas and Mother Kunti. And he is himself one of the Mahajans. And he is giving the conclusion. Why did it happen so? Even though Yudhishthir Maharaj is a Dharmanandan, his brothers are religious brothers, they are following the principles of religion. Mother Kunti is being addressed as Sati by Srimad Bhagavatam Sutta Goswami in the 8th chapter of the same canto. I believe it is 17th or 18th verse. Idam aha prita Sati. Mother Kunti is addressed as Sati, even though she gave birth to Karna before marriage. But Srimad Bhagavatam says he was Sati. Idam aha prita Sati. And thus Kunti's prayers are being narrated by Sutta Goswami. Mata Kunti was also one of the chaste ladies. Despite being such pure devotees, still, why did they suffer? In the 15th verse he says, Yatra dharma suto raja gada pani rivriko daraha Krishnostri gandivam chapam surut Krishnastato vipat. Oh, how wonderful is the influence of inevitable time. It is irreversible otherwise. How can there be reverses in the presence of King Yudhishthir, the son of the demigod controlling religion? Bhima, the great fighter with a club, the great bowman Arjuna with his mighty weapon Gandiv, and above all the Lord, the direct well-wisher of the Pandavas. Despite being most righteous people of the world, despite having Krishna on their side, but still they suffered. Why? 14th verse. Sarvam kalakritam manne bhavatam cha yadapriyam sapalo yadvashe loko vayoriva ghanavalihi. In my opinion, this is the opinion of Mahajan Pitamaha Bhishma Dev. In my opinion, this is all due to inevitable time, under whose control everyone in every planet is carried, just as the clouds are carried by the wind. So everyone, including the Pandavas, they suffered. Now here comes a very important lesson, that how come the time factor affect devotees of Krishna, Pandavas? Actually, it was Krishna's desire. In the 13th chapter of the same canto, 17th verse, in the purport, Prabhupada writes, verse number 17, 13.17. Srila Prabhupada writes, last line, therefore the instruction described in this verse cannot be applied to Yudhishthir Maharaj or his brothers and mother. It was meant for persons like Dhritarashtra, for whom Vidura came specially to impact lessons. We will see that lesson also. So Prabhupada says, time cannot affect Krishna's great devotees. Time has no jurisdiction over the pure devotees of Krishna. Then the question comes, why do the devotees also face difficulties? You know, Pandavas, they suffered a lot. Even indeed, Yudhishthir Maharaj asked this question to Krishna in the 10th canto. If somebody studies our life sketch, nobody will become your devotees. Then Krishna says, Yasyaham anugrahanami harishe tad dhanam shanai. Like that. So Pandavas suffered more than what we can imagine in our own lives. Then the question comes, why do even pure devotees appear to be suffering and facing difficulties? One great Acharya said, difficulties come in the lives of pure devotees and in the lives of sadhakas also. In the lives of pure devotees, difficulties come to glorify them. As we see in the case of Srila Prabhupada, had he received some ticket of, chartered plane for going to America, if suppose hundreds of brahmacharis are waiting there for him just to welcome him to preach in America, like that, somebody is waiting to sponsor the temple there, then we could not have understood properly Srila Prabhupada's great devotional service and his ecstasies properly. Because SriSriRadhaRasbihari wanted to glorify Srila Prabhupada in a greater way. That's why they gave so many difficulties to Srila Prabhupada, beginning with his wife only. Beginning from there, there was every chance of stopping for not preaching and going to America. There was every chance. He had all the difficulties. It was Radharasbihari's special plan to glorify Srila Prabhupada. As we read Srila Prabhupada Lilamrut, if a person is reading with honest heart, he has to cry. He has to cry by seeing Srila Prabhupada's great struggle just for our sake. Otherwise, he was happy with Srila Rupa Goswami in Radha Damodar Mandir, chanting. He himself is a liberated Brajavasi, Mahabhagavat. What was the need? Just for our sake, he underwent so many trials and tribulations. Then why did not Radha Rasbihari help him? Because they wanted to glorify Srila Prabhupada. Radha Rasbihari wanted to glorify Srila Prabhupada. This own temple of Srila Prabhupada, SriSriRadhaRasbihari Mandir, how many difficulties Srila Prabhupada faced? There is a huge book written by His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj. I'll build you a temple. That great struggle he narrates there. So, why Krishna gives those difficulties? To glorify his pure devotees. And what about the sadhakas? To purify them. To purify them. And as Srila Prabhupada quotes, often this verse he quotes, one of the most or quite frequently quoted verses of Srila Prabhupada is 10.14.8, Brahmaji's Stuti. Tatyanukampam sushamyakshamano munjana evatmakritam vipakam ridvagvapurbhir vidadhan namaste jivetyo mukti pade sadai bhak. All the difficulties, if a sadhaka, actually this verse is like a milestone, turning point of a sadhaka into pure devotee. All the difficulties that are coming into my life, that I am facing, it's all because of my own misdeeds. And my dear Lord, you are just minimizing the suffering and avoiding me. Minimal suffering. It's your great mercy. And in that condition, Ridvagva Purbhir, wholeheartedly if we surrender to Krishna's lotus feet, then we inherit the kingdom of Godhead. So, herein, if a sadhaka wants to become a pure devotee, he just depends on Krishna. And in the Chaitanya Charitamrut, it is mentioned how devotee becomes stable. Then another verse is being quoted of Parikshit Maharaj. Tammopayatum pratiyantu vipra dhritachittam ishe dvijopasrushta kuhakastakshako va dashatvalam gayata Vishnu gatha. Parikshit Maharaj, he just took shelter of the devotees and he said, you just go on narrating the pastimes of Lord Krishna. I don't bother about whether the Takshaka comes or any other magical thing that is created by that Brahmana Sringar comes and bites me. I don't mind. You just continue your description of Krishna Katha. That is the steady determination of a devotee in difficult conditions. And if we fail, sometimes devotees also, if some difficulty is coming, they go to some astrologer. Hey, this is happening. What should I do? What should I do? What should I not do? And this is how they miss the opportunity to become pure devotees. A sadhaka should depend on Krishna. Why to approach an astrologer and try to adjust our sufferings and happinesses? Krishna will decide what to do and what not to do. That means we don't have faith in Krishna. That is the problem. Anugraham manyamanam pratishtham disham uttarat. As we read in the section of Narada Balaka, he says, my mother died. It is your mercy only, Krishna. The entire Srimad Bhagavatam is just description of this verse. Tatyanukampam sushamikshamano. If you see Parikshit Maharaj's mood, if you see Vidura's mood, if you see Dhruva Maharaj's mood, if you see Bali Maharaj's mood, Krishna suffering that is inevitable, Daiva in my life. I am suffering because of my own past misdeeds, and you are merciful, so you are minimizing your sufferings in my life. Just like one devotee was cutting sabji, and he cut his finger also. He went to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I was cutting sabji for Krishna. Why did not Krishna protect my finger? Prabhupada said, you should thank Krishna. Your throat was supposed to be cut. Krishna saved you by just cutting your finger. So, Tatya Anukampam, we should have complete faith in Radha Raspberry. Whatever happens is their mercy. In that condition, you should not go and sleep. Krishna is the doer. I will go and sleep. No, Rud Vag Vapurbhir Vidadhan Namaste. In that condition, from the heart, Kaya Vacha Man, everything we have to dedicate in the service of Krishna. And as we see in Bhagavad-gita 18.13 number and 14, there are 5 reasons for anything to be successful or a failure. Krishna says, 18.13-14, Panchayitani mahabahu karanani nibodhame sankhe kritante puruktani siddhaye sarva karmanam. O mighty armed Arjuna, according to the Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all actions. Now learn of this from me. Adhishtanam tatha karta karanam cha prutak vidam vividhascha prutak cheshta daivam chaivatra panchamam. 5 things which make anything successful or a big failure. Which are those? The place of action, the body, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the super soul, Daiva. These are the 5 factors of action. If you take a case study, if you want to eat gulab jamun, your body has to be non-diabetic, correct? You should not have diabetes if you are eating. And then the performance, the soul has to desire to eat gulab jamun. And then your tongue has to be functional. Otherwise, if you have some other diseases, you can't taste. And then then you have to have money and go out. Go to the Govindas or go to Bistro or go to our Chaturbhuj food stall. And ultimately, your Paramatma has to allow you to eat. Isn't it? These 5 things, just one small case study. And Prabhupada mentions in the 8th canto, 21st chapter, 23rd verse, Prabhupada mentions there, 8.21.23. Very nice. Here in the 8th canto, the scene is Bali Maharaj is kidnapped by Vamandev. At that time, all the soldiers, army of Bali Maharaj, they try to attack the demigods. And that time, the demigods being blessed by Vamandev, they had become powerful and they started defeating the demons. At that time, Bali Maharaj addresses his followers. He viprachitte, it is 19. He viprachitte he raho he neme shruyata vacha mayushat nirvatatana kalo abhayamakrita. O viprachitti, O Rahu, O Nemi, please hear my words. Don't fight, stop immediately. For the present, time is not in our favor. O Daityas, next verse. By human efforts, no one can supersede the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can bring happiness and distress to all living entities. This verse is very important for all of us, sadhakas. Why? Because we try to facilitate our relatives, our mother, father, brother, wife, children. We try to increase their happiness and decrease their distress. We try our level best. But the problem is, here Bali Maharaj is saying, by human efforts, no one can supersede the Supreme Personality of Godhead who can bring happiness and distress. We cannot make any living entity happy or unhappy by our own endeavors. We can try our level best, but unless and until Daiva, the super soul, time allows, it's not possible to make them happy. It's not possible at all. The supreme time factor, which represents the Supreme Person, was previously in our favor. Now he is in the favor of the demigods. So he is acting against us. No one can surpass the time representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by material power, by the counsel of ministry, by intelligence, by diplomacy, by fortress, by mystic mantras, by drug, by herbs, or by any other means. It's not possible to supersede the destiny. It's not possible. That's why even parents may become very rich and educated. Sometimes their children are very illiterate. They are very, sort of brain drain. As they say in some local language, gone case. Children become very much spoiled. Even the parents may be very cultured and educated and aristocratic. Because destiny, nobody can change anybody's destiny. Previously being empowered by providence, you defeated a great number of such followers of Lord Vishnu. But today, those same followers having defeated us are roaring in jubilation like lions. Prabhupada says, Bhagavad-gita mentions 5 causes of defeat or victory that we just now read, 18.13, 14. Of these 5, Daiva, providence, is the most powerful. Is the most powerful. Now Prabhupada is mentioning one verse from Brahma Vaivarta Puran. Here Prabhupada is not mentioning where it is from. But I little bit searched and I found the reference to Brahma Vaivarta Puran. Prabhupada mentions this Puranic verse several times. Nacha Daivat Param Balam. Nobody is more powerful than Daiva, destiny. Nobody is more powerful than Daiva. Prabhupada quotes this frequently. It is from Brahma Vaivarta Puran. Bali Maharaj knew the secret of how he had formerly been victorious because providence was in his favor. Now since that same providence was not in his favor, there was no possibility of his victory. Thus, he very intelligently forbade his associates to fight. So Bali Maharaj knew this very well because he was follower of Prahlad Maharaj. He knew everything properly. And here, Pitama Bhishmadev, he is saying, Sarvam Kalam Kritam Manne. My dear King Yudhishthir, do not lament. Everything is ordained by destiny. And if you try to understand this destiny, na hesya karihichit rajan pumana veda viditsitam yadvi jitnyasaya yukta muyhanti kavayo pihi. Then in the first canto, 9th chapter, 17th verse, he is saying, Tasmadidam daivatatram vyavasya bharatarshava tasyanu vihito natha pahi praja prabho. It is all daiva tantra. So who is that Daiva? Who is that time? Then in the 18th verse, he says, 1.9.18. Krishna is standing there only in front of Krishna, in front of Bhishma. Esha vai Bhagavan Sakshat Adyo Narayanah Puman Mohayan Mayaya Lokam Gudascharati Vrishnishu. He is the same Krishna. He is the same Krishna who is Daiva and his destiny. Asyanubhavam Bhagavan Veda Guhyatamam Shivaha Devar SriRadhaRasbihariTemple Sakshat Bhagavan Kapilo Nripa. And this is known to Veda Guhyatamam Mahajans. He names Lord Shiva, Devar Narad, Sakshat Bhagavan Kapila. He himself is one of the Mahajans. He is naming the Mahajans. And Krishna can be understood by these Mahajans only. Whom you are calling, Yanmannase Matuleyam Priyam Mitram Surittamam Akaro Sachivam Dutam Saurudadha Tasarathim. To whom you are calling, Matuleyam, son of your uncle, Mama. Priyam Mitram Suruttamam. He himself is time, he himself is Daiva, he himself is standing here. And he has ordained everything. So, we should not blame even the destiny also. We should just thank Krishna. Tatyanukampam sushamikshamano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam. Thank you, Radha Rajbihari. Thank you, Krishna. Whatever happens is by their sweet will. And this is how Pitama Bhishmadev is pacifying Yudhishthir Maharaj. And we see in his own life, whatever decisions he made, they were all failed. They all failed. He wanted to make his father happy by giving Mother Satyavati to his father. His father became most unhappy because he renounced the kingdom and father went to the forest. Thereafter, his Satyavati's children, they were supposed to be kings, they also died. Thereafter, he brought Vyasadeva and he tried to beget Dhritarashtra, Pandu and Vidura. Dhritarashtra became blind and Pandu was fragile sort of, he was akal mrityu. He succumbed to death untimely. And Vidura was born to a Shudrani. And then, as we know, he wanted to make Yudhishthira as the king. The whole plot was being made by Shakuni not to make him the king. He tried his level best. It was very, very difficult for Bhishma Pitamaha, such a great Mahajan, and he was the biggest fighter of the universe of his times. But still, he was not successful in his plans. He was fighting on behalf of Duryodhana. He was defeated by Krishna's plan. Daiva Tantra, he knew all those things. Despite being the most powerful archer of the universe, despite being the most powerful warrior of the universe, being trained by Bhargava Parshuram, being trained by Sanat Kumar, being trained by all these great people of the universe, still Pitama Bhishmadev was not so successful in his plans. He was only successful in his maintaining brahmacharya and his devotional service. So that is a great lesson for all of us. Just see, whatever plans he made. Why did he marry Gandhari with Dhritarashtra? Because he had heard Gandhari had the boon of begetting 100 children. So he went to Gandhar Naresh and with force he married Gandhari with Dhritarashtra. If one dies, second will be enthroned on the kingdom. He will become the king. That was his plan. But unfortunately, Yudhishthira became the first child of the family. And then the whole story changed. Whatever plans he made, almost all of the plans were not successful. Only his brahmacharya life and his devotional service continued successfully. He is not an ordinary person. He is the most powerful person of the universe. Isn't it? But still, he was failure. Why? He was understanding Krishna's plan. Even if you are most powerful person of the universe, if you take side of Kauravas, demonic people, you will be defeated. So, what is the conclusion for us? The conclusion is that we should not try to increase our happiness and distress, our own and as well as our extended family members or our family members. We should just try to bring them to Krishna and Krishna consciousness. Some people say we don't have time. But if you are having sincere desire, earnest desire, then Krishna himself is time. He will manage himself and he will come in your life. That is possible. So we should not lament in our life, just thank Krishna, Tatyanukampam, and try to follow the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada and try to please Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Yes, any comments?
Hare Krishna. In this regard, you can mention about in Ramayana, Lord Ramchandra did not preach so much like Krishna. But at one place he preached to Lakshman. When Dasharatha Maharaj told him to go to the forest and all, Lakshmana became very angry. Said, I will attack Dasharatha Maharaj. Then Ramchandra said, This is all Daivadinam Jagat Sarvam. It's all Daiva. Then Lakshman retorted, saying that only cowards, they talk about Daiva and all. So I have Dhanushman, I can finish them up. Then Ramchandra said, just see, yesterday, our father called me, he wanted to make me king. Then he told me to go and do brahmacharya and then sleep in the Daiva temple. Then next day morning, also, he wanted to make me king. His desire has not changed. But just see, instead of me becoming king, I am going to the forest wearing Naravastra. Because of Daiva. Because Daiva did not want me to become king. So that is, so in front of Daiva, we can't do anything. Prabhupada, in the purport it is mentioned, destiny.
Yeah.
Like that. So, like that, then Lakshman was convinced. So, this is very nice explanation Lord Ramchandra gives, how everything, without the desire of Daiva, we can't do anything, even though we desire.
Yeah, as we read in the Bhagavad-gita, Krishna says, Maya Dhakshena Prakriti.
Yeah.
Daiva is the president of this material world. He is managing everything, correct?
I have a doubt. Yasyaham anugrahamnani harisheta dhanasane. Does it apply to all the devotees who are losing their property and all? Or my understanding is that some devotees like me or anybody losing something, that means because of offense. Because of karma is not there for devotees. Yeah? But to those devotees who are special, Krishna is specially favored. He takes away the wealth and all that.
Actually, one Prabhupada disciple was explaining about it. Prabhuji is asking, this Yasyam Anugrahanami, Krishna takes away all the wealth. Does it apply to all the devotees who lose their wealth? Correct? So one Prabhupada disciple was explaining, what is destiny? Destiny is created by our choices. Destiny also decides what we choose momentarily. Moment by moment we choose whether to go to Bhagavatam class or whether to sleep in the ashram. Whether to eat this or whether to eat that. Moment by moment we choose, and Daiva, Krishna, decides the future of that particular devotee or a person depending upon his choices. Okay. So, when some imminent danger comes, suppose the wealth is gone, that time that particular sadhaka has the choice to whether to blame Krishna. Why did Krishna did so? I am chanting, I am following four regular principles, I did so much of service to Krishna. Why did Krishna do so in my life? And in this way he can lose the opportunity to progress in Krishna consciousness, or else he can just reverse and he can say like Bali Maharaj and other devotees. He has the opportunity. That particular sadhaka or devotee has been given that golden opportunity, that free will. Whether he can become more atheistic or he can become more advanced devotee. That depends on his free will, minute will. So Krishna facilitates by taking that wealth or giving the wealth also. As we see in the case of Sudama, as we see in the case of Amrish Maharaj, they are given huge wealth. Krishna gives each opportunity for us, and it depends on individual devotee choice, what choice he makes. And in this way, whether he becomes a pure devotee or he remains a sadhaka, struggling devotee, depends on his own choice. That's why he is own responsible. Nobody else is responsible. Free will. Yatha ichchesi tatha kuru. He spoke whole Bhagavad-gita. If you want, fight, or otherwise you go. That's how.
No, he didn't answer my question.
Yes, see. So Krishna takes away wealth of some person. That devotee is having the free will. Whether to become a pure devotee or go to hell, whether to blame Krishna. So Krishna either gives money or takes money. Every moment is a choice whether to surrender to Krishna or not to surrender to Krishna. So Krishna orchestrates all the things in our lives to become pure devotees only. It depends with individual devotee choice, how to become, what to become.
See, recently one of my donors, he is practicing for last 4-5 years only. He lost around 100 some 120 crores. So he is saying, why Krishna has taken away, so much money from. Then I explained why, you are just 5-6-year-old devotee. Krishna did not take away.
It's, yeah.
It is because either must be a part of your karma or anything.
See,
If Krishna Krishna really takes away, you will become like Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Like Prabhupada, he was losing all the business.
Yeah, but Prabhupada quoted this verse. Yes, Prabhupada was laughing when his factory was burnt. He was laughing and he quoted this verse. Yasyam anugrahanami harisheta dhanam shane. Thank you, Krishna. Prabhupada said like that.
That actually Prabhupada, he was losing and then again and again he's starting. Then Bhakti-Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, his very close friend, he pointed out, Abhay Babu, this verse is applying to you, happening.
Yes.
Wake up. Then he understood. Prabhupada understood.
It's mixed, Prabhuji. Means for a sadhaka, his own karma also. And in that karma, he has his own choice. Whether to thank Krishna or not to thank Krishna. Yeah.
Different aspect. Thank you.
For pure devotees, it is Krishna's full 100% desire, like Pandavas and Prabhupada. But for us, we have certain karmas baggage with us, luggage. It depends. Small handbag or huge bag, trolley bag, it depends. It depends. Like that. But Krishna facilitates in both cases. Okay? Hare Krishna. Hanumanji Maharaj.
हरे कृष्णा। प्रभु जी, प्रश्न यह है कि प्रभु बताते हैं यस्य अनुग्रह में हरिषेत धनम शने, जिस भक्त कर्म में विशेष कृपा करता हो उसका धन का मैं अपहरण करता हूँ, और जैसे धन का अपहरण होता है सारे आप्तेष्टि मित्र सब लोग उसको छोड़ देते हैं। तो आगे का पार्ट आप बताइए।
यस्याहम अनुग्रहणामि हरिषेत धनम शने ततो धनम त्यजन्तस्य स्वजना दुःख दुःखिताम्. When I become very happy with my devotees, I take away all their wealth, and thus when he becomes poverty-stricken, Swajana, all the relatives, they forsake him. As we see in the case of Avanti Brahmana. As we see in the case of Avanti Brahmana, he was very rich. He was stinking rich, but he was not using his money. And he was forsaken by his family members. And he was roaming on the streets. He was insulted by so many people in that way. And thereafter he became a pure devotee. Indeed, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took sannyas with Avanti Brahman's prayers. He took sannyas. Etam shasthaya paratmanishtham adhyasitam purvatam maharshibhi aham tarishami duranta param tamo mukundangri nishaiva eva. This verse specifically was uttered by Avanti Brahman when he became destitute. He was uttering this verse. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I heard Ramanujacharya took sannyas with this verse. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, following the footsteps of Ramanujacharya, he also quoted this verse. He was praying. He was offering these prayers of destitute Avanti Brahmana, and he was going. Kaviraj Goswami mentions in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sannyas, this is sannyas mantra actually. Sannyasis are given this mantra. They are supposed to chant this. Like this. Krishna will protect me. That faith has to be there. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा। प्रभु आपने कहा कि जैसे मैं और भी लोगों को सुना ये बात, और दूसरी बात यह है कि कहते कि महाभारत में 64 करोड़, तो लोग कभी कभी बिलीव नहीं करते कि क्या अभी कितनी जनसंख्या है, और उस समय कौन था 64 करोड़, क्या थे, इसके बारे में क्योंकि सामने कैसे बोला।
अभी ऐसा है, आपको समझ में आया, श्रीमान राधा कृष्ण पर पूछ रहे महाभारत में 64 करोड़ लोग कैसे हो सकते हैं, कौन बिलीव करेगा, ऐसा संभव नहीं है। तो अभी 200 साल पहले 300 साल पहले रॉबर्ट क्लाइव इंग्लैंड से वहाँ आया, यहाँ आया था। अगर हम बोलेंगे कि रॉबर्ट क्लाइव ने 1 GB पेन ड्राइव में सारे मंदिर भर के जितने बुक्स है सब उसके अंदर डाल दिए थे, कोई बिलीव करेगा? पूरी दुनिया भर के बुक्स 1 टेराबाइट में आ जाएंगे, कोई बिलीव करेगा? आएंगे कि नहीं आएंगे? सब आ जाएगा उसमें, डॉक फाइल, कुछ नहीं बचेगा। वो लोग पागल है क्या, ऐसा कभी होता है क्या? अरे 1 टेराबाइट में सारी दुनिया भर के पुस्तक आए, उससे कम में भी आ सकते हैं, बराबर है, आ सकते हैं उसके कम में भी, कोई बिलीव नहीं करेगा। ये पॉसिबल है, खाली आपको पॉसिबल नहीं करके ऐसा मत बोलो, ये संभव है। ठीक है, हरे कृष्ण। थैंक यू वेरी मच। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की
जय
जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद के समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद के गौर प्रेमानंदे